to another episode of the Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. As always, I am your host, Dalton Van Peltzcotch on the sidelines. Dream still alive. That dream right there.
That dream,
Still
boy.
alive.
Back to back.
All
First
right.
time ever.
Don't count your chickens. All
Nope.
right. First game, Thursday night, San Fran takes out Seattle Seahawks, and the people are already clamoring for Brock Purdy.
Yeah. People enjoy themselves. A nice, good story. Brock Purdy gets it done. Just nothing but good things to say about Brock Purdy. Managing the offense and doing a good job with it. That 49ers defense is stout, though, man. Keeping Geno, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, like all in check. And kind of, handle that entire game and not really worry about the outcome. It wasn't as close as the score indicated. San Francisco definitely took control of it. No Deebo Samuel. George Kittle gets all the extra targets, catches the 2 touchdowns. Ayuk, a little down game. He got the touchdown last week, but yeah, pretty good game for Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. So fun story. People are already thinking that he's earned himself a nice spot on that roster next year.
They are who we thought they were. If you want to crown him. You're welcome. I left the swear words out of there, but I figured that was pretty good. All right. Buffalo Bills clear the field just well enough to play against the Dolphins. It does start snowing in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen torches the Dolphins linebacking core, and it was a really good game.
Yeah, Diggs, not a very good game. They did kind of bottle him up. The big game was from Dawson Knox. And then Josh Allen. Sorry,
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen took care of business. A lot of rushing activity on the ground. Not a whole lot to say except for that Josh Allen kind of took over the game, kind of divvied out the ball. James Cook had a nice game. Devin Singletary, a solid game. Gabe Davis got target. I mean, everyone kind of just chipped in. The big game was from Dawson Knox, though. So they get it done. Tyreek Hill does get his on the other side. Jalen Waddle gets a big game, catches a 70-yard touchdown, ends up leaving the game with an injury. Don't really know the extent of that. Raheem Mostert, solid game. Tua, a little
Jeff
bit of
Wilson.
No Jeff Wilson. Tua did struggle again with completion percentage and accuracy. I mean, it was, a snowstorm and trying to get everything done. But the Bills they're fighting for the playoffs. I mean, we know they're going to go deep into the playoffs again, and it's going to be interesting to see how, they can finish this year. They want to win so bad, and they're a very good team. They did bring in Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley did play in his first game. Didn't play a whole lot, but he did caught one ball. But he's going to be back in that offense. It's a bummer for like Isaiah McKenzie. I believe Jamison Crowder should be on his way back, but I don't think they'll activate Jamison Crowder now that they have Cole Beasley back. So be fun to watch down the stretch for sure.
It was a barn burner in Cleveland.
I would rather watch a barn burn.
Yes, it wasn't great. J.K. Dobbins does more of the same. Still doesn't find the end zone. Nick Chubb has they basically just turned around and handed the ball off all game, and it resulted in some field goals.
Yeah, I believe the only touchdown of the game was to DPJ. Otherwise, yeah, all field goals. Justin Tucker, I saw, missed 2 field goals for the first time in his career in a game. It's tough for kickers these days. But that's a game people want to forget that game. Um, Deshaun Watson's still kind of knocking the rust off. It's Tyler Huntley in Baltimore. Don't really have a timetable for Lamar Jackson. They do kind of have a chance to make the playoffs still, but Cincinnati we'll get to. They are looking tight.
All right. The greatest NFL comeback in history takes place on Saturday afternoon. The Indianapolis Colts were up 33-0. I turned the game off at that point at work. Came back to it somewhere in the third quarter. I was like, oh, it's actually kind of getting a little interesting. And then the Vikings bring it to overtime and win it with the field goal. 3 seconds left in overtime.
You call it the greatest comeback ever. I call it the greatest collapse ever. Like that is unacceptable, Jeff Saturday. Unacceptable. You want to be a coach in this league? It's just terrible. Matt Ryan, a part of the two worst collapses ever, 28-3 and 33-0, the two biggest comebacks ever. Just they're a terrible team. Jonathan Taylor does get knocked out of the game.
Gets banged up. Yep.
Alec Pierce, nothing. Michael Pittman, a lot of, little quick underneath stuff, but they were just so damn scared to let Matt Ryan throw the ball when they were up 33-0. Like you get a couple first downs, you maybe get in another end zone trip. They were just so damn scared, and they just kept running the ball with Zach Moss and Deion Jackson. And then you're going to let Kirk Cousins throw all over the defense with good weapons. Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I mean, KJ Osborne had an amazing day. TJ Hawkinson, like they have the weapons to fight their way back. And you're just going to sit back there and turn around and hand the ball off to two not very good running backs. Like it makes no sense. Like I feel like they just wanted to lose this game. Like it was to make great TV. Great TV.
Mitchell Trubisky gets the offense moving. The Steelers are determined to make sure Mike Tomlin does not have a losing record.
How many losses do they have?
8. They have to win out.
They won't win out. No way. No way. Either way.
Not too many takeaways from this game. Sam Darnold does get back in action again. I don't think that the Panthers had the ball for most of the game.
No, I believe Pittsburgh had like an 11 play, like like a 11. I think they had like an 11-minute drive at one point in the third quarter. Just a game you didn't want to watch. I believe Donta Foreman had 10 carries for 9 yards. Najee Harris looked like an all-star running back against that front seven. It's
the Steelers really don't play games you want to watch these days.
You don't want to watch them because they're in this like slugfest. They want to keep it low scoring. They do have a very good defense. Like that is a part of their MO that keeps them in the ball game because they can hold decent offenses to decent, or small outcomes. But it's just a grind to watch these games, and I don't have time for that shit. I like points.
152 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 95 yards on the ground. Justin Fields does not do enough to get the job done as Jalen Hurts targets his 2 stud wide receivers and runs the ball into the end zone 3 times.
Yeah, the big story of the day is that he has a sprained shoulder, his sprained throwing shoulder. They're looking like he might miss the next week or two, which is huge, huge fantasy implications, huge just NFL implications. They play Dallas this week to try to wrap up the division. And
touchdown Aaron Jones.
And it just it just makes a huge swing. Like, what's it going to mean for AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert's coming back next week, Miles Sanders. There's the backup quarterback and we all know and love him. It's Gardner Minshew. We love to watch Minshew mania. He came in last year, and just lit it on fire. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Gardner Minshew. Like like everyone knows what he's about. Like he's a good quarterback. He can get the job done. But it's Dallas. Divisional game, division on the line, really. Um,
He's
it's gonna
about
be
being spectacular. That's what he's about.
it's fireworks, man. Like I love Minshew. Everybody loves Minshew. He may be good, he may be bad, but man, he reminds me of Taylor Heineke, but better. Like just play with your hair on fire, and you're gonna make good throws. I'm just thinking like their swagger there. Like they're similar. Like Minshew is obviously a better quarterback. He's got a better arm, better mechanics, like all that. But and they're just so likable. And so it'll be fun
Yep.
to watch. It'll be fun to watch Gardner Minshew. Like everyone, like
Um,
it'll be fun. That's all I'm gonna say.
poor timing for that injury, as the Eagles need to keep their foot on the gas to get the division.
And the one seed.
However, Dallas really didn't do anything to gain any steam in
Yeah,
the matter. Dak Prescott throws a pick six. I believe it was tipped.
it was.
No matter, the Jaguars win in overtime, and the Cowboys are taken down in a game that they classically lose.
Yeah, Noah Brown kind of dropped the ball and just landed in the defender's hands and took it to the house. Yeah, big game for Noah Brown though. Big game for CeeDee Lamb. Zeke gets his, Pollard gets his. But man, the Jacksonville Jaguars look fun, fun and good to watch. Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns to Zay Jones. Marvin Jones gets in on the action. Christian Kirk, a solid day. Travis Etienne gets, to the century mark on the ground. And I'm just thinking about next year.
That happened fast.
What?
1,000 yards for ETN? Or oh no, you mean
No,
100?
century mark. Yeah, century mark for the game.
Sorry.
Not
century.
Yeah,
A century is 100 years, guys.
Yeah, gotcha. Not a millennium.
Everybody knows that.
So it just gets me thinking about next year. Obviously, the Jaguars are still kind of in that division race in the AFC South, but it just makes me think of what next year is going to be for that offense, because they're also adding Calvin Ridley to that team next year. So it's going to be fun to watch. Another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, that kind of phases out probably Marvin Jones. He's on the tail end of his career, but now you have, if they still go with Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley. You have Christian Kirk in the slot. You have Evan Ingram looks really good right now too. Travis Etienne, a nice young up and coming back. Trevor Lawrence pulling the strings, and then Doug Peterson as the head coach. That's going to be fun to watch at the end of this year, but also kind of looking forward to next year. That's an offense that I'm sure a lot of people are going to look towards next year that have good pieces.
The Denver Broncos eliminate the Arizona Cardinals from the playoffs. Latavius Murray has a nice day.
Very nice day.
The victory is great. Colt McCoy goes out with concussion, I believe, and They are stuck with Trace McSorley. Pretty sure the Cardinals went in reverse about 20 years this year.
Yeah.
They look more like the 2002 Cardinals than the 2022 Cardinals.
Firecliff. Yeah. Brett Ripien versus Colt McCoy, which turns into Brett Ripien versus Trace McSorley. Please turn the ball game off, hand the ball to Latavius Murray and James Conner, and get the game over with, which is what happened.
I had one game on Sunday. As much as I wanted to turn it off, it just kept getting interesting. The Texans take the Chiefs to overtime, but you always knew what would happen. The Chiefs do walk it off in overtime.
Yeah, Chiefs are the Chiefs, man. They're going to get it done no matter what. They may not cover the spread, but they're going to win a lot of ball games. Patrick Mahomes doing Patrick Mahomes things. Jerick McKinnon is the back that everyone is wanting right now. He's leading them in, some target share. getting a lot of work in the air and on the ground, catching touchdowns. Pacheco still has a nice day. He does end up losing a fumble. And then, Travis Kelsey gets his 10 for 100. Juju chips in 10 for 80 and some change. I mean, that's it right now. It's Juju, Kelsey, and Jerick McKinnon. And Patrick Mahomes is going to find the best receiver of those three that are open and just chunk, 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 chunk all the way down the field and put up points. The Texans kind of sat in zone all game and just let Patrick Mahomes take everything underneath. And that, long drives, they put up points. I believe, off the top of my head, I'm not looking at the stat sheets, 36 of 40, 41, something like that for Patrick Mahomes. So very efficient in getting the ball across the middle. And they didn't have any like big plays. They had 15, 20-yard plays max. So Cheesesteak Reed is going to get it done. They're going to be on a collision course with the Buffalo Bills, as it has been the last couple years, along with Cincinnati Bengals. Those are the three teams that everyone's kind of watching right now. In the AFC, of course.
Yep. Atlanta covers, but Juwan Johnson's 2 touchdowns power the Saints past the Falcons. That puts both those teams at 5-9. Still in playoff contention because Buccaneers cannot put it away.
Someone's going to win that division at 7-10. It's going to be gross.
Great.
And they're going to host the Dallas Cowboys.
Great.
Just great. The Falcons, Desmond Ritter's first game, not very good. Granted, it's his first game.
Desmond Ritter, it is that you're talking about, correct?
Yeah, Desmond Ritter. Mm-hmm. Drake London leads the team in receiving. Tyler Algier sighting. Tyler Algier was the big one. Caleb Huntley, the other running back, does go down with a torn Achilles, it looks like. Tough break for him. Cordero Patterson, I believe, sneaks in with a short touchdown. God, that is just any AFC South game or any game that has AFC South participants is just god awful. We've talked about the Panthers already. Now we're talking about the Saints and the Falcons. We'll get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it is just watching paint dry. God. The Saints are throwing the ball. Andy Dalton's throwing the ball to Juwan Johnson, Raheed Shaheed, and Taysom Hill is throwing touchdowns. It's just wild. Alvin Kamara can't do anything. David Johnson is on the Saints and gets just as much work as Alvin Kamara. It makes no sense. It's mind-boggling, honestly. Watch the Saints win the division and go and play the Dallas Cowboys. I would still obviously pick the Cowboys, but you're going to have Andy Dalton, the Fighting Andy Daltons, as you would call them, go in to host the game in New Orleans. Just be.
Ignore the AFC South for this weekend, and it actually was a stellar. There was a ton of good endings to games. Another one being the Lions and Jets. Jared Goff just really knows how to throw a walk-off touchdown pass. Brock Wright for 51 yards to walk it off.
Yeah, it was 4th and inches, and they drop a play on the backside tight end and just streaking out. And good for the Lions, man.
Great ending.
Great ending. Love the Lions. Screw the Jets.
Screw
Zach Wilson.
Really not much to talk about in fantasy wise in that game.
What do you think
Mike Swift gets some work?
Yeah. Sorry. What do you think Mike Whitehot would have done? I mean, Zach Wilson was fine, but that would have been a fireworks show if Mike White was in that game.
Let's see. He targeted Garrett Wilson, which Mike White, maybe that was like at the quarterback room meeting where they're like, hey, man, this is what Mike White's been doing. You should probably do this. It'll help.
Whatever. It's all right. But yeah, the Lions.
It's just horribly inaccurate.
So, yeah.
Speaking of insane endings, the Patriots and Mac Jones and a trick play and Bill Belichick's blood pressure all go out the window as the Raiders and Chandler Jones defeat Bill Belichick.
Have they unearthed Mac Jones yet from the ground?
I don't know if either Bill Belichick took his own plane home, or B, he left Mac Jones in Las Vegas.
Shit, you better leave Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. Like that is just horrendous. Like
Idiots.
it,
There was
uh,
no point. Just go to overtime.
just go to overtime. Like just go to overtime. If you haven't seen that play, go
You
check it
made
out.
poor Jacoby Myers look terrible.
Ramon Stevenson shouldn't even pitch the ball.
Charger. No, well, I mean, time was up and he
Yeah.
didn't see. I don't know. It was stupid. All of it was dumb. Okay. The Chargers actually win a 3-point game. They kick a field goal to beat the Titans.
Yep. Titans do cover.
Good day
though.
for Keenan Allen. Yep. Titans do cover. Good day for Keenan Allen. Derrick Henry gets fed the ball. Ryan Tannehill gets banged up in this one, but I think he does return.
Yep, he did return to that game. Malik Willis got a little bit of run, but it was the Derrick Henry show. Chig Akwankwo, the tight end, doing good things for the Titans.
Sure.
Yeah, just fun to say his name, Chig Akwankwo. I don't want. This game was crap. Not fun to watch. Yeah, the only bright spot was Keenan Allen. Mike Williams had a decent day. Eckler did get banged up. Josh Kelly did receive a couple goal line carries and did find the end zone. Yeah, not a whole lot to say from this game. Very slow paced the entire way.
The Bengals take care of business against the Bucks. This was, I think, America's game of the week. The Bengals kind of controlled the whole thing in the second half. First half, the Bucks went up, but you kind of always had the feeling that the Bengals were not done yet. Joe Burrow dials up a ton of good red zone drives.
Yeah, I believe all the pass catchers got in the end zone. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. So Dalton.
Continued talking about the box score of the Bengals and Buccaneers. Do you have anything to add from that game?
Last thing I said that all the pass catchers got in. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Burrow getting work done. We already kind of touched on the Tampa Bay that just kind of lackluster. Chris Godwin does get in the end zone. Lenny catches a few passes. Russell Gage catches 2. Just a weird game for the Buccaneers, and they're still right in the playoff mix as well.
The Giants finally take care of business against the Commanders. For some reason, the Commanders are always favored in this game, or at least they were earlier in the year as well. Oh, nice return for the Packers. Anyway, I didn't really see any of this game, but I know Saquon had an all right day.
He did. Saquon had a pretty good day. Jahan Dotson had a huge second half. Not a pretty slow paced game. Tevin Heineke turned the ball over a few times. It was the Saquon Barkley show. Daniel Jones didn't do a whole lot. He tried to march down the field at the last minute, and Heineke gets all the way down to the 1 yard line. Brian Robinson scores a touchdown. They call it back.
Once again, I believe we are experiencing technical difficulties once again. Not 100% sure what point Zach was getting to, but Taylor Heineke.
Fucking shit.
Hold on. Zach is back. I was just getting ready to wrap up to a break, but it appears you have reconnected. I just got done talking about all the games. Do you have anything
Yeah,
to add on Giants, Commanders, or Rams, Packers?
they all suck. We'll just move on. I'm pretty pissed off on my internet. I've never had issues until like the last like 3 weeks.
There is a winter storm coming. Would you like to speak on Brian Robinson or Alabama Crimson Tide at all?
Yeah, Brian Robinson, thank you very much. Kevin and I needed 11.7 points to move to the final four of the super bracket tournament. We got exactly 11.7 points. We won by 0.1 points. One of the closest games I've ever been a part of. Um, I couldn't watch the game. I didn't watch. I didn't watch the game at all until I was up. Like he literally scored 11.7, and then I turned the game on, and there was like 3 minutes ago. Like
You
I
just
couldn't watch it.
you were in disbelief.
Yeah, couldn't believe it. I checked my the box score every 15 minutes or so. He had about 6 points at the first half, so I was feeling pretty good. And then kind of stalled out in the third quarter and kind of got it done in the fourth. But I was really bummed he didn't score that touchdown because I wanted a nice little 6 point victory. But I'll take 0.1. That's sucks for the other guy. I mean, if we would have lost by 0.1, it would have been heartbreaking. But yeah, Brian Robinson, appreciate you, buddy. Get us to that final four.
Okay. Um, I held on somehow to beat Cody, who had won 11 in a row. It was a true David and Goliath moment. The two
Cheers to you, sir.
instances, thank you. The two instances in which this game ended was a Latavius Murray 10-yard rushing touchdown after a big run by him, followed by a 20-yard reception from Darren Waller to seal it. He could have played a lineup that would have blown me out of the water. However, it's fantasy and you have to manage your bench, so I will take it.
Yeah, congratulations. The second time the 8 seed has taken down the 1 seed. No 8 seed
Back to
has.
back years, I believe.
No, Matthew was the only other
Oh, sorry.
one. Luke lost in the semifinals last year. Um, Matthew was the only other one to do it. No 8 seed has ever been to the championship game. So obviously this is the second time they've only won. So the only other time is Matthew got beat in the second round. So Dalton, you got a shot. Take your number 8 seed Scotch on the sidelines team to the championship game and go back to back. The first,
It is possible.
it is possible. No ever back to back champions have ever been crowned in the Gem City, and there went another triple crown hopeful. Number one
It's over.
points, number one record. It's over. Tough loss for Sackett. Good team all year. Speaking of which, Dalton, you've beat Sackett 3 times in a row.
Which is
A
my
miracle.
greatest streak against him ever.
Yes, you beat him last year in the championship game. You beat him earlier this year, and you beat him when it counted.
All right.
Absolutely. I texted both of you after the game was over, and I sent the same text. All I said was "Wow."
He texted
And
me like right afterward and he was very graceful in his defeat.
yeah, he was like, it's like tough loss. I mean, it's how it goes. Obviously, I
It's
mean,
got
you
to
want to
be
win.
so disappointing for him with how good of a team he built. Just to lose that way had to have been so deflating.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather lose by, you know, 10, 15 points and just, whatever.
Because then you can say, yeah, I was beat.
I was beat. Um, but 1.5 points, 1.24 it's a tight window. Anything can happen, an interception, a turnover. Um, and the
I
crazy
was
thing is,
sweating it.
and the crazy thing is, you got your worst game of the year probably from Devontae Adams, and you still cap it out. Like
My flex wide receivers
Deontay
playing
Johnson.
Devontae
Yeah.
Smith in a bad matchup, understanding that it was a Mitchell Trubisky day, which meant that Deontay Johnson could actually have some production. And then the last minute 10:35 switch in of Darren Waller for Greg Dulcich is what led me to that victory.
That is true. The Darren Waller piece. Absolutely incredible. We'll touch on the other two games that are actually over. Because there's one still being decided. But
Which
I think it's
is
pretty much over, but you never
there's
know.
still a quarter to go, and it's
Yeah.
only 8 points now, less than
Yeah, it
eight
is.
points.
He needed
So we need to wait on that one
we'll touch on
probably.
that
But
one last.
okay, go ahead and do your game.
I'll do mine, yeah. So I was the 2 seed. I matched up against Drew. Drew put up a solid day, just kind of got a a big game from Henry and a big game from Dawson Knox, and just kind of mediocre around the edges. Um, I was, fortunate enough that I got to play Matt Ryan, and just had to watch the Colts fall apart. Um, I do get away with the win. I had it wrapped up before tonight. I have Christian Watson still going. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. I put up 133. I have a 10-point lead. Um, good run for Drew. Just a tough one to lose. And then I will get to play the winner of which was Stuart Brinkman and Heath. Stuart takes it by a little over 12 points. Big game from Josh Allen and who's the other big game? That was it. Josh Allen, I guess Michael Pittman.
Eckler's touchdown.
Yeah. But Heath, gets a bummer, has a
And
big Jalen
Thielen's
Hurts.
touchdown in the comeback.
Jalen Hurts has a big game, kind of gets a lackluster game from some of his guys that have been doing really well. Mike Williams, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon. Slow game from Njoku and Chark. Alvin Kamara. It's just a tough one for Heath to lose. He's had a really good year. A lot of good players on that team. So I get a matchup against Brinkman. And it's funny, Brinkman won the toilet seat last year. Now he's in the semifinals. Just that, a difference a year makes, with a chance to go to the title game. And then of those three, you've been to two title games. You've won one, obviously last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you lost one years ago. Brinkman went to the inaugural championship game, lost, has never been back. So he's one win away from that championship game. Cole also has one championship appearance, where he lost to me in a close game. But that's where we're heading right now is Cole and Luke's game, not quite over. Luke needs a total. Aaron Jones needed 24.7 points tonight to get the win. He was down 24.62. So 21.7 is going to get it done. He's at 18.4 right now as we have about 13 minutes to go in the game. So he needs, what did I say, 6.5 more points to get it done. Going to be close. Going to be very close. By the time we end the podcast, we probably won't know who gets this done. If Cole does win, like I said, he has had a championship appearance. Luke, on the other hand, has never been to the championship game. So he's wanting it after, started out 7-0, finished the season 1-6, and he still finished as the number 4 seed. So he's got a good team. Saquon Barkley gets it done. A lackluster day from Diggs and Ayuk, but a big game from Kittle. Like I said, Jahan Dotson. Like the Jahan Dotson, Saquon Barkley last night climbed him back in this game. If Jahan Dotson doesn't catch that touchdown, it's a whole different story. Aaron Jones needs, 32 points. So projections right now have Luke falling just short. But you never know how the game turns out. If Aaron Jones gets another touchdown and Green Bay is trying to run the clock out, they're up 12 points right now. And I just got a notification after a rather lengthy stay in the blue tent. AJ Dillon is jogging to the locker room. So that is big for Luke right now, with AJ Dillon going to the locker room.
I missed all of that. What did you just say?
AJ Dillon headed to the locker room.
Okay. So that's good for Aaron Jones.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes. We got 12 minutes to see what happens between those two. And then
I would
go ahead.
we're probably about to say the same thing. I would just like to point out that Lean and Patrick were the two highest scoring teams this week from the consolation bracket.
Yep. Patrick was fourth in scoring this year. Like his team is very, very good, but his points, I believe his points against were just as much as Sackett's points scored. Like Patrick ran into a buzzsaw, and that's tough. One of these teams will be in the toilet seat game, and it looks like Lean is going to
just under 11-point lead.
Yeah, so that's very doable for Patrick. And then the other toilet bowl game, um, Garrett's gonna have about a 30-point lead. Sorry, Blaster. Blaster's team is
Which
just falling
is
apart. He's just had a lot of injuries.
That's pretty hard to come back from.
Yep. So Blaster may be fighting for his second seat on the toilet. So yeah, it's coming down to the wire.
Bets that matter. I hit +4.5 for the Falcons.
Yep.
And Zach hit +3 for the Titans.
Correct.
Maybe we're getting better at this game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, but maybe. I pick up a point with the Giants covering as they won, of course.
Yes.
And Zach picks up a point with the Lions winning.
Yep.
And then we're still waiting on Packers and Rams, but it's looking like Zach's probably going to win that one. But it's still a lot of game left.
Yes.
So I believe it is my turn to pick games this week. So I would like you first to pick your lock of the week while I take a look at the schedule.
All right. I've actually I looked ahead this week. I was tired of like stumbling through the bets. I started
looking ahead like I don't know, a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I just need to pull it back up. I have the lock. I just need to make sure I have the correct point spread. If my internet will allow me to.
Probably not.
Probably not. I just turned off the Wi-Fi on my phone, so that's good. All right. All right, here it is. I will take Cincinnati -3.5.
Okay.
For my lock of the week. Against the Patriots.
-2.5?
3.5. I'll take 2.5, but
mine says 3.5 as well. That's what I was asking.
Yes. And yours?
Okay. Give me the Texans +7.
And they play Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm actually I got a little bit of bankroll in my DraftKings from these over under season long win bets starting to cash. So that's been fun.
Yes.
Had a decent day yesterday betting NBA, hockey, and the Giants covering.
Nice.
Did you see the World Cup final?
I did not. I followed along. I got notifications. All I know is Argentina jumped up 2-0 pretty quick. And then one of France's guys scored 2 pretty quick, like in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Within a minute.
Yeah. And then Messi scores 1 in the overtime. And then the same France guy scores 1 at the very end of the game to go to PKs. I did watch the PKs because I love PKs. And then France definitely choked it away in the PKs.
That game might have been one of the best sports games I've ever watched on TV. It was that good.
Yeah.
It was just that good. It was insane.
I actually didn't watch a whole lot of sports that day. Sunday, Sarah and I celebrated Christmas with Elliot. That was kind of our Christmas day as we're going to be traveling. So we did all of our Christmas traditions and stuff on Sunday.
Nice.
So I did get to watch a little bit, not a whole lot. I did watch a little bit of the PKs from that game while Elliot was napping. And then just did.
I think his name is Alessandro Martinez is the goalie for Argentina. Something like that. I can't 100% remember.
Who's fired up?
Well, he is a psycho.
Yeah.
He is a weirdo, man. It is so fun to watch. So he got the Gold Glove Award during the ceremony where they gave out all the awards, which took like an hour, but I'd never watched one, so I figured I'd watch it. He grabs the Golden Glove trophy. I don't know if you guys can hear me. He grabs the Golden Glove trophy. He's like, and then he walks across the stage, turns towards the crowd, and's like, with the trophy. It was hilarious.
Oh man.
All
Let's
right,
get
let's
back
do
to the
this thing.
bets.
You are first up to pick.
Okay.
49ers -7, Commanders +7. Is that what DraftKings says?
Correct.
Go ahead.
Oh man, that's a toughie. I'll still take the Niners -7.
My phone typed out sack instead of Zach.
Yeah, I'll take -7.
Next one is the Steelers -2.5, Raiders +2.5. I shall be taking the Raiders.
You motherfucker. Oh, you bastard. I'll take the Raiders too. Just kidding. So I get the Steelers +2.5.
-2.5.
Oh, I have 3.
-3?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get +3 on the Raiders, even better.
Yeah, that sucks.
How is that a thing? I don't even know. So you get to pick next, and it is Chiefs -9.5, Seahawks +9.5. Is that what yours says?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say if it was 10, I was gonna move off of it, but 9.5 is fine. Go ahead.
Oh.
You even said the phrase that is eating you up right now during this podcast.
What is?
That the Chiefs don't always cover, but they're gonna win a lot of games.
I did say that
during this podcast. But I don't care, man. You pick whichever side. I want the other side that you don't pick. So,
man, definitely Chiefs will win that game.
it sounds like a episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, phone a
Where you're
friend.
contemplating it.
Oh man, I'm trying to win points here. Give me. I got a lot of writing on Kansas City, so give me.
Give me liberty or give me death. What are you
Yeah.
trying to say there?
Give me Seattle +9.5.
Okay.
I need a close game. I need Patty Mahomes to throw a lot of points. Don't want no big blowouts.
Maybe he'll get you like a 6.1 yard rushing touchdown.
Hey, I'll take it. He gave me a rushing touchdown this week. He's scoring like 36 points a game, man.
That's good. All right. Anything else you'd like to add? I believe this is the end.
Yeah, down to the final 4, guys. I guess the matchups that matter will be technically the semifinals and the toilet bowl. Everyone else that loses will play, just for seeding purposes for the lottery next year. Still, please set a lineup, obviously. Just because those are fun games to play, and
that is actually what I was going to say. I'm very, very happy with the integrity of everyone from setting lineups. It's been really refreshing to not really have to police that.
Yeah.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was in one of the toilet bowl games, was cutting it real close. Like Saturday, still hadn't set a complete lineup, but they fixed it by the time I went to check.
It's probably Lean, because Lean waits to the last minute.
We actually had a conversation about that because him and his wife came over on Sunday, and we were talking about. He's like, "Listen, man, I know it irks Zach, so I've almost started to do it on purpose. I'll wait to the very last second to set a lineup, but I do set a lineup every week this year."
But it almost fucks him on Thursday nights. Like,
because
he's definitely
he
missing.
never plays someone on Thursdays.
Yeah, or someone will be like playing Thursday that was on a bye the week before, doesn't play him, have a big game. Yeah, whatever. Lane has never made the
Doesn't
playoffs,
matter.
by the way. 0 for 3.
Yeah. He didn't make the playoffs in the work league the last 2 years either. I'm sure you're so surprised.
I'll bite my tongue.
All right. This is the end. Goodbye.